pledge the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The secretary call attendance.
Mr. Marinaccio?
Here.
Mr. Ritchie?
Here.
Mr. Teratikas?
Here.
Mr. Valdrani?
Here.
Mr. Flowers?
Here. Okay, all the members have received the minutes from the September 16th meeting. If there's no questions, get a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, our first item on the agenda this evening is public hearing for Price ground-mounted solar panels. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Good evening.
Wasn't it?
So, we were here last month, and aside from the public hearing tonight, we had a couple of revisions that you guys had requested. Mainly the screening of the solar panels. So I have those, if you guys would like to take a look.
Yeah, you have enough copies for all the members, the staff and the secretary?
Thank you.
But I thought we can't even have a public hearing.
No, we can talk about it, but we can't have the public hearing. We can discuss it. We can't
So
have-
as discussed in our last meeting, we had proposed to plant evergreens along the western side of the fence line for screening of the ground-mounted array.
Is that shown on the drawing you have there? Is that shown?
It's shown right there, yes. I apologize.
Okay, so you're planting just the one side, the other side, is there screening?
There is already screening there, yes.
Okay,
And along the rear of the yard as well.
okay. All right, okay, so at this point, we open up the floor to anybody wishing to comment on this
Bruce.
application.
There are no mailings.
They didn't do.
Oh, sorry,
they didn't do
the,
mailing.
Yeah, well, you brought in proof of the mailing
Yes.
for the, yes. Okay, and everything's in order? Okay. So, all right, so we do have the mailing.
Good,
Yeah, I forgot to share that with you, prior.
right.
So, again, is there anybody here from the public that wishes to speak on behalf of this application? Okay, seeing that there's none, you have any- with this submission that was just made,
We'll take a look
Um,
at it and review it, and if it's not sufficient, we can put a condition in the resolution if you want to authorize the drafting of a resolution.
okay. Yeah, do you feel that what's been submitted is acceptable?
It's an effort,
Norm-
certainly, so we'll take a look and
Okay. All right. All right, so when we anybody wants to make a motion to close the public hearing at this point?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we've gone through the public hearing portion of it. What does the board feel regarding authorizing the planner to draft a resolution?
I'll make a motion for him to draft a resolution based on, after they review the tree line.
Based upon review comments from
Yes.
this? Okay, that would become conditional to
Yes.
the approval. Okay, is that something that is acceptable to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? The motion carries.
Great. Well, what would our next step be?
All right, so basically, what we do is we, being that you just submitted this today, the planner can review it against his, review letter that was previously submitted to you. As long as you've addressed all those concerns, he'll review this, assuming this is adequate to meet that, or if there's anything that needs to be additionally addressed, that would be a condition of the resolution. Okay? He'll draft the resolution prior to the next, probably be the next meeting. You'll get that in an email form prior to the meeting. You can review it. As long as you're present for the meeting, if you have any questions or concerns, they can be brought up, in case we have to amend something for some reason. But the next meeting, we'll just be voting upon that resolution.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. Our next item on the agenda this evening is another public hearing for Porteous lot line consolidation.
Good evening. Alfred Capelli, architect, for the applicant, Greg Porteous. So, we're here just to discuss taking the two half-acre lots on New Road, consolidating them into a single 1 acre building lot. As simple as that. Historically, you know that we tried to turn the lots around, et cetera, but now we're consolidating and making one building lot. Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay, so we'll basically here tonight for a public hearing. Let's see if there's any public that wishes to speak. I guess I should also ask the secretary if the mailing for this was also in order? Everything was correct? Okay. All right. So at this point, we'll open up the floor to public comment. Is there anybody that wishes to comment on this application? Okay, seeing there's none, so we'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. We did have some issues that the consultants had brought up.
I think there's only one issue, if it's an issue at all. I believe it was the question that David had. I don't think Peter had any comments, right, for the Porteous subdivision, but I think David wanted to defer or bring to everybody's attention about the fact that we're not extending the road like we had originally proposed, that we have 30 feet plus of road frontage on New Road that is adjacent to our lot, and that's off the table from when we, again, came before you to do the lot turning. We were going to, and we got Mr. Bettina's blessing on that to extend the road. Again, we're not doing that.
So, Al, do you have an idea as to where the driveway would go?
Right, yes, right off the edge of New Road. I have no choice. I'm not gonna bring it further up New Road. I'm gonna go in the first, it's a relatively flat piece of property. I'm gonna go right off of the first 30 feet of New Road, turn 90 degrees, a left, and go right into my lot, period.
So what we talked about earlier was, because there's no good place to turn around up there.
Right.
There'd be a specification for the width of the driveway coming off of New Road, and then there would be an easement on the Porteous property, so someone could come in and turn around and go back out.
But that would be, we talked about that could be something that would be done at the time of building permit?
So, and you're only taking my property to?
No, Porteous's property.
Porteous's, yeah, talking, you're not taking any turnaround from any of the other surrounding homeowners there.
Right.
So, and again, everybody knows, I don't want to be argumentative, but how fair is that? That I'm being penalized to get a building permit on a legal lot and you're saying I have to jump through hoops and give easements, which I have no problem doing. But again, you're making, why am I again penalized to give an easement that may or may not be an important piece of property for me in order to put a house, a septic system in, et
Oh,
cetera, et
just, no,
cetera?
no, it would just be an easement, Al, that would be over wherever you're gonna place the proposed, driveway, and it would just go a short ways in, so that either like a vehicle or more likely, like a highway department truck, when they plow, for them to pull in, back out, and then, go.
you're
And
looking
not-
for-
But what I understand Vinnie does right now is he plows the entire length well beyond our property and pushes the snow all the way out to the back. There's another 2 houses beyond me that go beyond, are there beyond the paved portion of New Road, but that's fine. I don't
Is
want to
that town
penalize
property,
them,
though?
it is what it is. So,
So we're
but,
ju-
but if you want, again,
So that's kind of the discussion, because the other driveways, my understanding is the driveways for the other properties are on the south side of the road.
on the south side of the road, that's correct.
So, and, I was out there and that's what I looked at. So I don't, if, the question was, in essence, the end of the road. If,
Right.
If that's not the end of the road, it's not clear here because the pavement, it just shows. the
Right, because it only,
pavement.
That is in
you're only
fact-
showing the pavement
That's correct.
to just beyond the property line.
That's correct, that's what
But
currently
it doesn't,
exists.
right, but it doesn't show that there's a road that goes further beyond,
Because there really
other
isn't.
than the lines for the, for the right of way.
Right, because there really isn't road, it's all gravel.
Well, again, that's still a road. If it's
Okay.
maintained by the town, it's still a road, so that's.
I think that's what's been drawing the confusion, and also that that the driveway location wasn't shown, and we just wanted to make sure that if somebody pulls into the driveway, fire department, ambulance, whoever, if they pull in, that they can turn around, they can get into the driveway, and then they can back out the driveway and then be able to back up the road so that they're facing out and they can pull out instead of backing all the way out. That's,
I understand the intent, but there's 4 or
Okay.
5 other houses there that have that problem. I can resolve that problem on this lot, but you have the same problem with emergency vehicles on 5 other houses up there.
Yeah, but they're not the ones in discussion, it's yours.
right.
But you can't deny me a building permit.
No.
for
No,
that
we're not
lot.
gonna deny
No.
you.
Well,
We're not
actually,
denying
you
you a
can,
building permit.
Under 280A, the question is the road suitably improved?
Well, that's for you to determine. I
So-
mean, again,
so
that should have
that's-
been,
right.
Jim, that should have been determined 6 months ago when I first came to the board, when we were gonna keep the 2 lots and just turn things around. I'd hate to be here 6 months later, and we're talking about, hey, maybe you're not gonna get a building permit. That's not fair.
No, I mean, that's, again, if you're coming out to, the existing paved portion of the road, I don't see
Yes.
that to be an issue. I mean, so the question is, you may have to, if you're coming into the portion that says broken pavement,
So what are we saying here? What do you look, again, in all due respect, I don't wanna be handcuffed by getting the approval today, but being subject at the point of getting a building permit with all other sorts of conditions and requirements that's not really part of the deal here. So, tell me what you want, and if it's fair enough, I guess I'll have to agree, without Porteous being here, but I thought the consideration with all the issues of consolidating 2 lots into one, I thought that was,
the issue with respect to 280A is that, in this case, this is a map that was filed before the planning board existed. So the requirement in order to get a building permit is that the road be suitably improved. And so, that's, again, it's a question of where the driveway comes out, because it has to do with where the access is. To the extent that, it's gonna come out onto a broken, we're not gonna ask you to upgrade the entire portion of the road. It's just that wherever the driveway is gonna come out, it's gonna have to be improved. if it's not already.
So if it's determined by whoever determines it, that new road for 100 or 200 or 300 feet down is a lousy road, what are you saying? That I have to
No.
improve
No.
or not? You're not
No.
saying that?
No.
Okay. So then,
No, I mean,
I'll-
Are you-
again,
you're
it's not.
talking, you're talking as far as the driveway for Porteous?
if I just want to put a driveway into
Right there.
right here, period, and be done with it, that's all I want to do, right?
But again, that's, you know, as far as,
It's improved to that point, right?
It's approved to that point.
Right.
To a-
It doesn't meet.
Paved to a certain width.
Well, no, not the town spec.
No, no,
it doesn't
no,
have to be,
Yes.
again, it doesn't have to be town specs. We're not talking about
Right.
town specs, we just have, the terminology is suitably improved. We're not asking you to build a town highway.
Right.
If the pavement is shot, you need to refurbish the pavement.
Which I was gonna do before,
Right.
you know.
Again, we're
It
not,
it doesn't show that, though, right?
not talking you to.
Not yet.
I'm sorry,
It doesn't quite show that yet,
showed what?
what you're gonna improve.
No, but if you want between now and the next meeting, when we discuss a final resolution, hopefully, and you want me to show a driveway, I have no problem showing the driveway there. And Porteous, everybody doesn't know Porteous. Porteous is the type of guy that he would get the highway superintendent out there and probably do some repairs, no promises, but he's that type of guy that would do that opposite his driveway for the town, for the supervisor, for the highway super, whatever, but I can't make that promise. But I'll show a driveway, improved to whatever degree you want it shown, and
I mean, the driveway's gonna have to meet the driveway specs.
it's
And there was
flat,
some-
yes, not a problem. Yes,
No.
that's easy,
And-
that's easy to do.
We just want to be able to get an emergency vehicle in there.
No, I understand. I don't think that's any
mean,
different than, again, I have a 30 foot of driveway beyond the corner of my property line. So that's certainly more than enough room to get whatever we need to do in there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, beyond your driveway for the rest of the new road
I'm not-
is a town issue. That's a town issue, because it's, you know, but yeah, no, and he's got another driveway right in for the next lot,
That's correct.
so. Yeah, so I mean, that's not, again, that's, I assume that's out to Decent Road, where that comes out?
You mean New Road?
Well,
No, the driveway
driveway-
to the south.
the
adjacent-
the driveway on the adjacent.
On the other
Yeah, on
property.
that flag.
Okay, so just FYI, this is so inundated with overgrowth, this house that exists is in a dilapidated condition. We're in the process of getting a demolition permit for that.
Okay.
This road virtually doesn't exist. There was never any paving, it was
Okay.
gravel, and it's all overgrown at this point. So I'm gonna say, for all intents and purposes, there is no driveway there right now.
Okay, just to sort of try to summarize and there's no good place to turn around out there.
No, there's not.
So if you showed a driveway of a certain width and the roadway of a certain width, right at the driveway, you may have to patch the roadway up a little bit. And there's an easement over the property for 30 feet or so.
Yeah, probably.
A highway guy could come and turn around, no, he could turn around there.
Why don't you
How about a
just-
fire truck?
Just tell me, well, I mean, you know, I'm sure a radius could be, tell me what you want, and I'll, so
Okay.
between the next
We
week
will.
or so,
Yeah.
let me know what we want,
We
what you
will.
want, and I'm not gonna argue, you know, that.
Yeah, I think at the
No one's gonna
most,
know if there's an easement there probably, so it won't get used very much.
in the easement, as long as we show it on the map, the actual legal document could be provided at the time of building permit, is that?
Sure.
Or no?
Well, I think it would follow with the plat,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll get this done sooner rather than later, so obviously I'm only the messenger here, Mazer's the surveyor of record, so we'll have to
Do
get
they
them to
have
do
any
that work
survey
for us.
data on those other driveways?
I'm sorry?
Do they have any survey data on the other
I'll double
driveways?
check that, and
If they do,
Yes.
even if, I just wanna have it for the town's records, because basically, for purposes of highway by user,
that's fine.
highway by user goes to where the town maintains. because originally this was laid out to go all the way to Cooper Road and never went there.
Correct.
So at some point in time, I can't find any deeds, and you and I spoke about this. I can't find any deeds dedicating the roadbed to the town. So based on that, it would be a highway by user and wherever the town, I know it's somewhere before Mildred Drive. I don't know exactly where,
Okay,
so. And if you have it, fine. If you don't, you don't.
that's fine. Okay, that's fine. I'm good with that.
Okay?
Yeah, I was gonna ask for a resolution, but at this point, that's fine. We're not building this year anyway, I guess, or the builder's not building. Unless you wanna draw up a resolution, it's up to you, doesn't make any difference to me. Yeah,
With the condition of what we just spoke about?
We could do that.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve the planner to write a resolution for next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
thank you.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, our next item on the agenda this evening is
Great.
Guardian Temperature Control Building on Route 9.
You'll actually need that over there so the camera can see it.
Yeah.
A little better?
Yeah, well, it's that way the camera can pick it up to see it on the TV.
It looks like squiggles on.
Huh?
Mr. Chairman, members of the planning board, Frank Rettel, project manager for Guardian Self-Storage. We conducted a public hearing last time, it was before you. Since then, we submitted revised plans showing the exact colors to be used for the building that the board requested.
Okay, that's, well, hold on a second. So you submitted, when did you submit the color renderings?
They were renderings like that with color, it wasn't an actual color rendering, it was a new map showing what each aspect of the house, of the building was gonna be colored. I submitted that probably within a
Okay.
week to 10
So we were-
days.
We
from the last
discussed it
meeting.
earlier, and we were kind of confused because that's like the last open-ended thing. We were expecting a color, we
Oh,
thought
you want-
we thought you were submitting a color,
Oh, then-
colored
well, I mis-
elevation, more or
I
less. of the-
misunderstood the board. I thought we were just supposed to depict on the plan what the roof was going to be colored, what the siding was going to be colored, what the stone was
Okay.
going to be colored, and we submitted that plan. I didn't actually submit something in Technicolor.
So Frank, was it specified in writing as opposed to showing a
Yeah, it's on here. It's like, it just says,
chip?
ephes, charcoal color, fiberglass shingles, brown.
Right.
On the elevation drawing.
Yeah, so,
That's the way I interpreted the last comment from your office, Mr. Stolman, and I was under the impression from the board that we just had to mark what colors everything was supposed to be. I didn't submit something.
We usually
Yeah,
like to
in
see
your
the
letter-
colors.
in your letter, you mentioned that we said applicant will supply a color rendering of the elevations. Or actually, we didn't say that, you said that. Applicant will supply a colored rendering of the elevations. So that's not what you submitted.
I did submit that letter, and then after the last board member,
Yeah,
meeting, I was under the impression to just mark the colors on the
Right.
plan.
right. I think the board would like to see what it's actually gonna look like.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want that, I'll give it to you. It's your house, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I believe the rest of the board, everybody feels like having the color rendering ahead of time.
We'd like to see it because we want to make sure that everything looks good. 'Cause
That's fine.
we don't want
Actually,
the
what
public
we're-
coming back and saying,
what we're
why did
planning
you pick that?
I understand perfectly. What our intent is to mirror the
Right.
building that's already there. We want it to look sharp, and
Right,
we'll supply the color rendering. That's not a problem.
okay.
Do you want it as an extra sheet to what we've submitted so far, or do you have something else in mind?
You could render the elevations that you've submitted already.
Just on that second sheet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And just print it in color.
While I'm here, though, I wanted to get the board's feeling, there was a couple of conditions that the town planner had wanted. Under paragraph F of the proposed final resolution, he wanted the location.
Page 3.
Of the proposed light fixtures to be included on the plan. And we did do that on sheet 2 of the plans. We're showing exactly where we want the lights.
Yeah.
Right.
However, then it goes on, the plan should also provide photometric information for all proposed lighting. We're gonna have one light on the back of the building with a shield, and the only other lights are gonna be 4 recessed soffit lights.
Right, that are gonna shine down across the front. We did have this discussion already.
Yeah, and it seems like it would be a waste of time and money to do a whole photometric array
Yeah,
just for those few lights, especially when the one on the back's got a shield on it.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Well-
know.
Lighting is an issue right now. Can they be dimmered? Can you put dimmers on them in case we would like them to be softened a little bit if it's too bright?
The ones on the front?
Yeah,
Sure,
very good.
we would be happy to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, be happy to. And lastly, the other condition was the location and details of all signage, colors, dimensions. On the front page, we did supply all the details of the signage that's gonna go on the building and also the enter and exit signs. And you'll probably see this on the color rendering, everything is gonna match what the other building has. Same colors, same
Yeah.
design, same fonts, everything, but we'll show that on the new plan.
Okay. All right.
So I guess the only question that I would have for the board is, when would you like me back?
Next meeting.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you have that, if you can get that out to us right away, and
Yeah.
we'll have you put on for the next agenda and move forward from there.
What would the date be for that?
21st October.
October 21st it is. Thank you. B is the glue that holds everything together. Okay, thank you, everybody. I'll see
Okay.
you then.
All right,
Night, Frank.
thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
All right. Okay. Let's go with that. Okay, our next item on the agenda is discussion regarding the Thomas ground-mounted solar panels.
Good evening, my name is Bob Hamill with Solar Plus. I submitted an application for a special use permit on behalf of Fred Thomas for a ground-mounted solar system on his property, 15.7 acres. I did not bring an enlarged site plan because I brought a flash drive instead, thinking I was going to use the screens.
Okay,
But in any event, I did receive a letter from Frederick Clark Associates.
yes,
Mention.
that's our planner.
Okay.
Yes.
And it was indicated that there were 3 items that you wanted to see on the site plan.
Right, on the first one, the chairman did some quick math earlier, and apparently between the existing and proposed solar panels, they're about 100% of the building footprint, the area of the building footprint.
The building footprint is 2,100,
Mhm.
and the proposed array is 600.
And the existing array?
It's probably around 800.
Okay. So that 800 and 600, did you say?
I don't know the exact
Say
dimension of
it's
the
1,400.
existing.
That would exceed half of the area of the footprint of the house.
So what are you proposing? We reduce the size of the system?
Well, that's
Well, the,
one way.
yeah, well, basically, I mean, from what we were getting off well, at least what I took off the plan, it looks like you're pretty much at 100% of the, the footprint of the building. So it means you're more than double you're double what's allowed on the property. So it's based upon the zoning code, so if you don't agree with, you don't agree with us and you want to go to the zoning board to get a variance, to get relief from the zoning board, but you'd have to show a hardship of why you need the excess, in solar panels.
Well, the purpose of putting the additional array up is in order to meet 100% of the electric needs that are being utilized now.
Okay,
So I don't, Is that considered a hardship? It's considered trying
Well,
to,
I mean, the zoning code doesn't address, based upon usage right now. I mean, they just have a blanket in there for, the amount of, square footage of panel you could have. So right now, you have 50% of, what the actual primary structure has. So if the building's 2,100 square feet, then, you're looking at like a little over, 1,000 square feet of panel that would be allowed on the site.
so even though the property is 16 acres in the middle of the woods, no one can see it.
I know what you're saying, but, there's the town code, there's it's written in there, so, it's basically, we're bound by what's in the town code. We
Planning
can't
board's
approve
gonna-
anything outside of that unless you get a variance.
Planning board's an administrative body, they've got to go exactly by
By
what's in the,
code.
Right,
what's in
no,
the
I
code.
understand.
But the zoning board of appeals has the authority to vary from that.
Okay, so I guess I'll. have
And
to
what you
proceed
mentioned before is just, is probably one of, the arguments that you can use when you go to the zoning board. Size of the property,
Yeah, I
visibility.
mean, we're basically determining the size of a system, including the existing system, to meet 100% of the homeowner's needs to offset his energy cost.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean,
So-
we're in a position where, the
Right.
proposal that's been submitted, our hands are kind of tied by what's in the zoning code.
So, I mean, the way the zoning code is drafted is that it's 240-57 of the zoning code. So, as an accessory use to whatever it would be, a commercial or a residential use, ground-mounted solar energy systems as an accessory use to a single-family dwelling are allowed by special permit without site plan approval, provided that the surface area of the solar collectors of such ground-mounted solar energy system is 50% or less of the footprint of the primary structure. It would be, now, if you exceed that, then under our code, it's considered to be a solar farm. However, a solar farm is not permitted in this zone.
Right.
And this is hardly a solar farm.
Right. But, but that's the way, and, the other condition is that, it's at 50%, and the surface area of such ground-mounted solar energy system shall not exceed half an acre. So I don't know I don't know what the acreage is here. It doesn't sound like it's gonna be more than a half acre.
No, it's way under
less.
20,000 square feet.
So, those are the caveats for it being as an accessory use. This is, as the applicant said, it's a small house on a very large lot.
So essentially, this board can't go any further until you seek and obtain a variance,
Right.
Or make it smaller,
or make it smaller.
or make
Right.
it smaller. You only need to be 1 foot smaller.
You say 1 foot?
Right. No?
No.
That'd be the combined.
Oh,
Be the
come on.
combined, you have a
Okay,
combined
okay.
system, the two sets of panels,
Right, I see.
yeah.
But you can make it smaller to make it fit.
You'll have to look at what the square footage is of the existing system, but I don't think it's more than 800. But it's 1,400, it's more than 50%. What do you think the chances are on a variance?
The morning line in Vegas, I don't know. I mean, it's not a question that we can answer for you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I guess our next item on the agenda this evening is 20 McFarland Road. Carlos Espinoza.
Good evening.
Hi. Good evening.
Margaret McManus from Beatty and Watson. We were here a couple weeks ago where we had a public hearing, and there were a couple comment letters from your consultants, and we did a quick turnaround and made some minor changes to the plans to address those comments. And again, received two comment letters from the consultants, which have even smaller amount of comments. Basically, again, a comment about the health department approval, which we know that we would need to get, and would ask that that would be a condition of any approving resolution. One outlet from the infiltrators, which we can certainly change, and a couple of notes to be added to the plan, which we certainly will accommodate. I didn't know if there were any additional questions that the board had at this time.
Okay. There's one thing that we did speak about earlier, was there was an area towards the front property line that was cleared out against the building. And
Yes.
I believe that part of the zoning board resolution was that that wasn't to be used for anything, it was to be blocked off.
So the plan does show a bollard on either end of that, so that nothing can be parked or be placed in that area.
Right, there's just one single bollard.
I'll put as many bollards as you would like.
Okay.
Do you want two on either end? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, personally, it's like, so there's no openings be more than 4 feet? I mean, does it sound reasonable, or, some type of, large planters to be put there?
How about a guardrail? Wrap around, keep you from going there.
sure.
No, wooden guardrail?
Wooden or metal?
Well,
Watermelon, yeah.
there's ledge rock there, so, yeah, I guess we can put something like a wood guardrail so that nothing is parked there,
Okay.
or a plant or something. Certainly, we can upgrade that a little from a bollard.
All right. Okay, all right. So, I mean, if you come up with some type of, something for that location,
Sure,
both of those locations, so
Yeah.
to block that off.
okay.
And then might as well go through the engineers, had a comment on his last review letter.
Yeah, Margaret had mentioned that, our only comment was that the infiltrator system for the roof leaders did show a discharge pipe that pointed towards the neighbor's property, so we just asked that be taken off, and that there is, in case the system does get overtaxed during a large rainstorm, there already is a roof leader detail that provides for a bypass overflow. So,
Yep.
and then, as she said, Dutchess County Department of Health approval is required. And other than that, that's it for us.
But the health department approval will be fine for a condition?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Of the
yeah.
resolution?
Sure, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. David, do you have any,
Just those notes that Margaret mentioned. That's
Yep.
pretty much it.
okay. All right, so there's nothing outstanding, more or
Nope.
less?
Nope.
All right. Okay, board have any questions for the?
Not at this time.
No? Okay. All right, so at this point, I guess the next point is, do we want to move this forward towards a resolution of approval?
For the contingency?
Yeah, contingency of the, right, the bollards or, or guardrail, whatever they
Guardrail or
put there.
planters.
Right, I mean, I don't see that's a stumbling block to a resolution, do you?
Well, we'd like to see it before we vote on a resolution. So if we were to authorize the planner tonight to move forward, then it'd be based upon, any of the comments that haven't been addressed.
Well, can it be a condition of the resolution that you're happy with whatever it is that, I mean, if you tell me you want a planner, I'll put a planner. You tell me you want a
Okay.
guardrail, I'll put a
So
guardrail.
with basically,
Take
so
a
if we're,
little
if you're gonna propose something for,
Huh?
we could authorize the planner to
Something
write it, but
permanent.
we would prefer for you to have
Yeah.
whatever you're gonna use for the, to block that area off, we'd like to see it before we vote on a resolution.
The,
So it wouldn't be, it
Well, I
wouldn't be a-
understand you can't vote on a resolution tonight because you don't have a resolution tonight. I'm just hoping that
But
we
we
could
can
have one.
authorize, we can authorize the planner to write the resolution, which would be voted upon at a future meeting.
Yes, that's what, I didn't know we were getting to that. That
Okay.
was what I was.
Unless you
looking for.
feel that you're not ready for that.
I
And then
feel
we
I
can
am
turn
very
around and
ready
we
for
can
the
wait till a
resolution.
future meeting.
No, no.
But
That's,
then again, it's not
I-
up to me,
So
it's
why
up to
don't-
the rest of the board and how the rest of the board feels.
We had a discussion over here. The guardrail seems kind of more permanent.
Permanent than a planter that
Should
can
be
be
planter.
moved.
should be something in the ground.
And
Sure.
Yeah.
So to the extent it's a wooden guardrail, which I think is appropriate,
So a wooden guardrail.
that doesn't preclude the applicant from putting a planter if they want to decorate the property. So-
Right, correct.
all right,
So it's gonna be,
Wooden
you know,
guardrail.
that would be a minimum. And
That's
should the
fine.
applicant wanna, you know, put plantings in or whatever, make it look better, put plantings on the rock that'll never grow.
So a section of guardrail at both
Section of
ends
guardrail.
seems to be reasonable?
that's reasonable, yes.
Okay. All right, so,
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
okay, so we have a motion and a second to authorize the planner to write the resolution.
With the condition.
Well, they'll have, with the condition that they have the,
Guardrail.
whatever they're proposing to be presented to us at the meeting and the night of voting on a resolution.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? So motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. All right, our next item on the agenda this evening is 33 Middle Bush Road.
Where's that?
Good evening.
So since our last meeting, I think we've made some modifications to the plans, submitted a full array of additional information for the consultants to review. We received their comments. There are some additional items they need. I spoke to Peter earlier today. If he'd like to go through his letter, that's fine. If David would like to go through his, everything is pretty understandable, except one or two items which I'll question, but that being said, that's pretty much where we are. Everybody's familiar with
Might
what
as
we're
well
trying
go
to do
through.
there.
Might as well go through the letters
Sure.
now and make sure that everything is acceptable. So, do you want to start, David?
Sure, sure. As soon as I find the memo. Okay. So, we have a couple of lighting notes.
Yes.
Illumination contours should be provided
Not a
on the
problem.
lighting plan. And we have a comment about the color temperature of the lighting. It should be
Yes.
4,000 Kelvin or lower.
Not a problem.
Existing trees should be shown with their size, species, and condition indicated, and the future disposition of the existing trees should be shown. And then you're proposing trees and then a short section of fence, and then trees and a short section of fence, and
That's-
trees and a short section of fence.
That's correct. Just to break up the monotony.
Some more
of
trees
having
and a short
20
section of fence.
20, yes, we have a couple of sections of fence, and then maybe 6 or 8, I have the landscaping plan, 6 or 8 pine trees and a small section of fence.
And it's
in
like
the-
6
in
feet of
the-
fence or so.
Yes. So, I mean, again, if one prefers, again, took it upon ourselves to buffer the neighbor to the right and the schoolyard in the back, which is kind of crazy. But again, just to make an overall nice appearance to the site, we've buffered, as you can see, and you have a copy yourselves, of the landscaping. But on the right side and in the rear, what David is alluding to, we have again, a short row of pine trees and a section or two of fence, a short row of pine trees, as opposed to, again, a continuous array or row of pine trees and or fencing, that we felt it was less monotonous. The board should feel that they want a continuous fence, I'll put a fence. If you feel that I'm full of baloney with the fencing and you want all pine trees, then I'll put pine trees there. It was just my take on something that we thought was a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, but that's up to you guys.
It's like a design thing, right?
That, we try.
What kind of fence you gonna put up?
I think it's a stockade fence,
Plastic?
6 foot, I believe it was, yes. That detail is on the plan.
Do you have a color rendering of all of the,
Not of the building? No, but you have a, I don't have a colored one with me tonight, unfortunately.
Right.
But as part of the submittal that we made,
We do
there
have the,
are, for architecture, there are elevations that you have
Elevations, yeah.
of the building, so you can see what the building looks like. And I don't want to say it's a market improvement as to what's there, certainly, but it is. And next time, I'll bring a rendering similar to what we did for McFarland. Not a problem.
Okay. All right. So what's everybody's feeling with the screening, to stick with a fence,
Al,
or?
where's the wetland buffer with respect to the screening?
There's a little bit of wetlands in this area, a little bit of wetlands back here. Federal wetlands.
If they're federal, they're gonna be town as well.
A town as well, that's correct.
And the town will have that buffer that needs
That's-
to be shown.
Which is, yes, subject to be discussed.
So you want to keep the screening out of the wetlands? Buffer?
Not necessarily out of the wetland buffer. Screening is, vegetation is fine
Okay.
in the buffer.
So, and we took your comments, we gave them to our expert wetlands gentleman, who's gonna be addressing those issues.
Good.
Okay.
So does the planning board want to give Al
Well-
some feedback on,
Or you can think about it and let me know next time, because we're gonna be back another time or two.
Yep.
It's totally up to you. I do have a couple of other comments about David's comments, so.
Okay.
can't wait to get to those.
do you have a profile of what that looks like with the trees and the fence and?
No, but I can do a short rendition of that as well, yes. It's not a problem.
Okay. I mean, that'll help a little bit, make a
That's fine.
decision.
Right.
With and without.
So item 5 is the need for a subdivision plat for the lot
Yes.
consolidation.
Yes.
6 is information regarding signage. 7, building elevations
Have
should
been
include all proposed light fixtures and colors.
Yes,
Wetlands,
yes.
if you could give us some more information about the flagging, who flagged and all that. And we need to show the delineation of the wetlands and the town-regulated wetland buffer.
Yes,
And then 9 is site circulation. We have some comments on that.
yes, which of course, we enlarged it once, and then we did do the template overlay, and there was a comment about some overlapping of curbing and a parking space or two, so we further enlarged the blacktop area, but we did not include the overlay to demonstrate that.
The truck turning template.
Yes, so again, this thing is being enlarged to the point that it is what it is, though. Good, if you want to continue before I...
I think that's the whole thing,
Okay, that's
right?
pretty much it. Okay, so my only 2 comments real quickly here. Site distance, this is a county road, not a local road from a point of view of the town superintendent of highways, I imagine. The county should have purview, and our entrance was recently installed by the county when they did their improvements in that area. So, we're not changing it, we're not altering it, it is what it is. type of
Okay.
thing. So in terms of, I don't know what we're gonna be looking for, if you want a letter specific,
I'm saying I'm deferring.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not to the town highway.
I believe,
It's-
because at the time this was before the ZBA, I think the county was doing the work.
Right.
And the county, I think, took away a driveway or an entrance, or they channelized the entrance. I don't think there was, right?
I will be actually taking away an entrance. If you drive by there right now, there are two entrances. But the primary entrance, which I'm utilizing to get to the parking lot, and actually there's a door in the front, and there's a separate little driveway that
Right.
I'm filling that in. Basically, I'm connecting point A, B, and the driveway, if you will, to the west, which isn't shown on that plan, but it's shown on another plan, says it's gonna be eliminated, basically, and I'm just gonna connect the county curb and the county curb for a matter of, it's a very narrow, it's not a wide opening there. Maybe it's 15, 18 feet. So, that being said, again, the main entrance that showed to the parking area was done by them, and I'm not touching that.
As long as the county's good with that remaining opening, as long as they have no issue with it.
Well, I imagine
Yeah.
that this has been circulated to the county for comment, and I haven't seen anything whether, and that should be something that they would have addressed or looked at. So we can look up.
We'll
we
just
can-
make sure, we'll confirm that
That's
that's
fine.
okay.
And I
Yeah.
have no problem with calling up the powers that be and asking them to send us a letter saying,
Because that
everything's
was,
okay, knock yourself out.
to
That's
the
fine.
issue of truck turning, the way the site was previously operated, there was a garage door facing Middle Bush Road, and trucks would back into the front garage door.
Right, yeah.
Which we're trying to
So it's
eliminate now,
it's
right?
gonna improve it just by getting the trucks to,
Be
you
able
know,
to
pull
turn
into the
around.
lot,
Correct.
'Cause
right,
that
which was our
that
earlier
was the
concern
prior
anyway.
site.
Right.
You know, there wasn't any, there were no garage doors or openings on the side, was there?
I don't think there is, just
Yeah.
a passage,
Yeah.
a people door.
Yeah.
And the only other question that I have, and again, as everybody knows, on the left long leg of the property is one lot, and from the building over to the right, to the east, if you will, is another lot. And just to clarify, David, you're asking for us to show existing trees, their size, their species, and their condition. And I guess I'm questioning why you want that, because on the eastern part of the lot, I'm denuding the entire parcel for parking and maneuverability. So the point of locating a tree there, and on the landscaping plan, we are not touching anything on the so-called lot to the west, except what we need for a little bit of drainage in the front, and it says nothing is gonna be done there. So again, I guess I'm saying, I don't wanna get the surveyor out there and pay the cost to locate trees for what purpose? If
Well,
I find a beautiful 36-inch oak in the middle of my parking lot, I'm not
You're not gonna say that.
design around it, I'm cutting the tree down.
It would be good to show the existing trees that are gonna remain in the area around the parking lot.
You mean with a squiggly line and say that's the tree? I mean, if you want us to go out there with a surveyor to locate, once he's out there, whether I have him locate one tree or 21 trees, I just don't think
Don't want to
there's
give you
any
extra work,
purpose.
but it's gotta be something where it's enforceable, so that if the zoning administrator goes out, she can tell whether you've taken down trees or haven't taken down trees.
Well, I can say unequivocally that, again, looking at the lot, on the western side, we're not doing anything. On the eastern side, I'm clearing all the way to the property line, guys. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a pretty heavily wooded area to the right of the building right now. I'm clearing to the to the driveway, to the property line to the right, which is to the
Not to the
east.
easterly property line.
I'm sorry?
You're not showing that you're clearing all the way to the easterly property line.
Oh, I will be, and then I'm replanting trees there, absolutely. I'm gonna be doing that. I'm within 30 feet of the property line. How can I, from the edge of pavement to the property line, it's maybe not even 30 feet, maybe it's only 20 feet. Of course I'm gonna, during the course of construction And that's why I'm replanting the buffer of trees there, because I don't think there's gonna be anything left.
Well, the point of showing the trees in advance is for the board to decide whether some trees should be saved.
On that one property line, or where else?
On this, well, wherever you're not improving. And that's the point of showing trees in the first place.
But if I put a note saying, nothing's gonna be removed in this area in its entirety,
That's fine,
which is on the plans,
that's fine.
why do I have to demarcate what trees are there or not there?
Because there may be trees worth saving.
Well, again,
No, David's talking about,
that's fine.
On the perimeter.
just
Talking about,
would
yeah.
be basically in that area.
If that's what you want, you know I'm gonna give it to you.
That's the
so
point.
That's
Is there a
fine.
specific size?
I just
David?
question the rationality on doing that, that's all. I'm taking all the trees down. Maybe there's, I don't know what's there.
I mean, if the board is satisfied with you taking all the trees down on the entire site, that you're gonna, on the right-hand side, the right-hand lot,
We have no choice, though. We had this conversation when Ralph brought up the fact that, and the board, not just Ralph, about
Right.
getting the maneuverability
To
and the
get-
increasing the
yeah.
size of the truck
Right.
to get more maneuverability.
Right.
Of course, it comes at a price. It comes at a monster parking lot where I have 30, 35-foot aisles, where I
Sure.
would only have 25 normally opposite a parking space, just to get the maneuverability of the truck. And I can understand the point, but again, it's a balancing act here, right? Of
course.
No,
we
no,
know
I
that
get
I'm-
it, right. We're asking for more parking lot in order
Sure.
to maintain the deliveries off of Middle Bush Road.
Right, and at that
Right.
expense, we're cutting a couple more trees down. It is,
Right.
we
So,
can't have our cake and
I
eat
see
it
where,
too.
I see where you're coming from with the surveying of the trees, but I mean, maybe just clouding it that you're not gonna take anything down, you know, a few feet beyond where the curb, you know, where the edge of the parking lot's gonna go. You know, or the screening. I mean, if we're gonna go with the screening, then it's really moot, because he's gonna be replanting all the trees anyway. Or he's gonna be planting evergreens at least,
And
you
we're
know, to
planting
screen the
evergreens.
neighbor, which is more important.
Right, because there were all
Yeah.
deciduous trees in there, and if I was to save it and call it a buffer, that wouldn't be fair, because in
Yeah.
the wintertime, you'd be seeing right through it. I'll go out and I'll locate a couple of trees on that side. Let me see if I had any other issues there. I think that was it. I think that was it.
I'll raise the issue regarding, there's an encroachment on the
Oh, yeah,
property.
yeah.
um,
Good point.
on the lot that's not gonna be disturbed. This issue came up recently. In 2008, New York State changed the adverse possession statute so that de minimis encroachments by fences are considered to be permissive. So they do not establish adverse possession. And that's a pretty de minimis encroachment, so, you know, it's considered to be permissive. So
Okay.
it's not,
So it doesn't need to be addressed then by the
doesn't, you know,
property
you
owner?
don't need to change the lot lines or anything like that.
Okay.
And the applicant is not objecting to the location of the fence, so.
Yeah, small little timber wall is what in fact is, yes.
Okay.
Okay, Peter?
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
Do you have any, first of all, do you have any problems with any of my comments?
No, we discussed whatever few little issues we had.
Just
that's
want,
all.
I just want to clarify
No, that's
that
fine.
before we get
Everything
started.
else is,
All right, so the first one is this, Al already talked about, the wetlands flags, because it does show some flags, so he's gonna show the buffer. 2 talks about a drainage, analysis, what Al told me today that he already has, and he will be handing that in. Have you guys done any soil tests for the
Yes.
septic system?
yes, we have.
Okay.
Yes.
So, you don't feel that, the regrading is gonna have an effect on
No,
Okay.
we left a small little area there, and we know we're gonna need a pump station.
Yep.
Because there was a pump station there originally.
Oh, there was, okay.
Yes, so,
right.
and again, the nature of the use is such that the system is gonna be minimalistic, but yes, we have been
Yep.
out there with the health department, taking the details.
And then I made a comment, number 5, about the silt fences shown at various high spots on the site. And talking to Al today, he says that he typically likes to put that up around the site so that it kind of serves as a demarcation, so that the contractors don't go further than they're supposed to go. So I don't really have a,
Yeah,
I don't really
a
have
limit
an-
of disturbance, so again, on my site plans, for whatever reason, we don't put silt fencing just where silt fencing needs to be. Sometimes I'll almost put it around the entire work site, if you will, so that, again, guys who are pushing dirt know that you're not going onto a neighbor's property or whatever, and this site is a little tight, I don't want anybody to go beyond where they
Right, to
should.
go beyond the
Yeah,
limits of the
so,
property
Yeah,
line.
so, and I mentioned,
That's fine.
and we talked
I
about that.
don't have a problem with that.
with Pete.
I wasn't aware that the county had already put in the entrance, so number 6 isn't really applicable, and David's office already touched on the subdivision application, so that was it.
I'm good.
You good now?
I'll submit something, and we'll be back whenever I can get everybody the additional
Okay.
information, okay?
You get all
Very good.
the stuff
As much
addressed
as-
and,
As much as I can, hopefully all of it,
okay.
okay?
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. Okay. The next item on the agenda this evening is Old Hopewell Commons amended subdivision.
So,
That's the next one.
just check. All right, I will.
Good evening, Mark Day, actually Day in Stokoza, and we're representing Old Hopewell Commons. And tonight we're here, we made some, Steve Alex had made some the changes that were spelled out in Mr. Sotero's comment letter. If you want, we can go through it. Basically, there were comments about the abandonment parcels that would be added to it. I think Steve has cleaned that up, and I think it's more clearly shown as to what's actually going to happen to those parcels. Be conveyed to our lot number 2. And pretty much that was the extent of the comments. Now, something recently popped up this past week about the entrance. The county, when we had submitted this for approval, we had originally shown 3 lanes, a right turning lane to the west. The county rejected it. We resubmitted it again. It was rejected again. We got into a verbal conversation with them. They said they would be willing to allow it, but there would be a caveat that they would have the right to revisit it in approximately a year. And if they did not want to keep it, they would have it removed. We felt that would cloud the issue of the town accepting the offer to take the road. So we said, we're not interested in getting to that. We'd rather, get an approval from you. What got approved was 2 lanes. So our apologies for the confusion, but that's really the route we took. We have since talked to them about this because we understand the town does want the 3 lanes, excuse me. They said they are willing to allow that without the caveat. So what they suggested is we meet in the field at the board's discretion, consultant's discretion, to resolve what we want to do. We have the ability to, we have the width and the right-of-way to be able to widen it back to what was shown on the approved plan, and we are willing to do that, so.
Okay. All right, so I mean, that's obviously, we're gonna go back to the, some form of the original plan, the original approval. And now it's just a matter of when we're gonna get something, I guess, in on paper for that.
We actually
It's
already
like-
have it. We've submitted it to them.
Well,
And they
well-
rejected it.
Part of our discussion, Mark, we had last Thursday here, was that working, with David's office was gonna work with Jim to put together like a summary to send to the county and to you and the applicant. Part of that was to take the right turn out and kind of extend it or like angle it like a little bit more so that there wouldn't, hopefully there's not gonna be a sight distance issue if you kind of extend the right turn a little bit and create a small painted pork chop.
Oh, you mean on the right?
On the
two
right out,
lanes?
right.
The right lane going out.
Right.
So just create a pork chop to direct the person making the right. to make
Giving
the
them a
right.
little bit better shot to not have, a sight distance issue if you've got a large SUV.
Oh, in
Or a
front.
It's gonna be
truck or
parked,
something.
parked right next to you. And one of the other things that the town was concerned about was that whether during, the review process with the county, whether anyone looked at the turning radius for a car carrier.
Well, we looked at it originally when we came up with the whole concept of the road. We did an actual model of a car carrier trying to come off southbound of Route 9, turning up Sergeant Palmetier. He would have to cross, if I can go over here. We did a model that actually came where the car carrier would have to turn here. He has to cross over into the far lane. So our synopsis was that any car carrier headed south on Route 9 has 2 points of entry to Greer and would come out right here, and we've actually modeled this movement through the site. So the movement, whether the road, let's say, stayed where it is today, or we move it, it would have, it has to go into the other lane to make that turn onto ours. But I actually don't see how the truck or why the truck would want to do that if you have 2 points on the southbound access of Route 9.
What about if there was a car carrier heading northbound?
He'd go up to Middle Bush, make that turn, and come back down Sergeant Palmetier Way.
Did you have any discussions with them about it?
Greer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We met, both Anthony and I met with the Greers, and they had they were not concerned. They said, we will make it work.
I mean, how do they typically do it now?
Well, we've seen them do it both ways. They make the, let's say the turn that no one likes, they make that from the north, and they'll turn, they'll make that wiggle turn. But they also come south. They come onto Route 9. I mean, we've done work for them, and I've seen them pull in. And for them to come out of the site now, it's much easier for them to go down through the new Sergeant Palmetier Way extension to be able to come out, because now they can sit and turn, and they're not stacked at that intersection.
Well, that was the stacking issue is what we were concerned about regarding the right turn. Because, because there is a potential that, it stacks pretty good there on, Old Hopewell Road going eastbound.
You mean now, currently?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah,
So, that's, but
yeah, believe,
because
yeah.
what we were looking, the question was, can, if a car carrier is making a
This
right
turn.
in,
If he's making this turn?
right?
Yeah, we made it, but he's gonna swing. He's gonna have to swing into the farther lane, but he does the same thing here, only because of the,
Right, well, that's
the
what-
length of the vehicle. But when we talked to Greer, they said, listen, we have an entrance here, we have an entrance here, and their exit for that site is right here. So it's more of a fluid exit for them. And again, we met
But you
them
all-
a while ago. Because we were talking to them, if you all remember, about the parking for the park.
Right.
And, they were fine with it, and, we did explain to them what was gonna happen there.
The other question was, as far as unloading on Sergeant Palmetier, do they do that frequently now?
I think they do.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's,
All three of them actually do.
yeah, they,
Nissan, Toyota, and the used car guy
Nissan.
that's in there too. Most of his car
I'm
carriers.
trying to think of
Yeah.
which way the trucks are facing, north or south, I can't.
Yeah,
They're
they
both
do both.
directions, yeah. It's a, yeah, because I mean, I don't know if there's, you know, on the, reducing the radius on the corner there, just to make it so if a truck does come down that direction, that when they do turn in, make the right turn onto Sergeant Palmetier, that they won't be driving up over the curb. Is there a way just to reduce the,
Increase the radius? you
Oh,
mean?
increase it?
yeah?
Increase the radius?
Increase the inside radius.
Well, no, they'd have to reduce the radius to bring it back a little bit for where the trailer trails around.
Oh, well,
You know,
yeah,
the increase in the
you're right.
radius would bring then the line further out. I mean, which is, I think, what we were discussing the other day regarding the, the car carriers themselves having, the outline of the turning radius for the truck, is they have a larger radius
Yes.
coming out.
Well,
But
I think
on the inside was, for tracking.
you'd be increasing the radius, but you'd move the tangent back.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it's gonna work, I'll be honest with you. I think really they should be coming south on either Sergeant Palmetier Way or south on Route 9. There's access to that site, which was specifically designed for car carriers to enter that site. They've used this just because not many people travel it, but as you guys know, once we
Right.
put this in, you're gonna have more traffic there. They're not gonna be able to offload on Sergeant Palmetier Way like they've been doing now. They're gonna have to make arrangements, I would think.
Is there anything in the site plan about that for those?
Yes, all the car sites are supposed to offload on-site.
On-site.
And there are places on every site plan. But then when you go out to the sites, they have cars sitting there or trucks. And I would say the majority of the car trailers do park on Sergeant Palmetier, up a little further, almost where the inventory parking is.
Correct.
Or for Nissan, right across the new Elgin site, and they unload.
And if you remember, the new Toyota site plan had those two wide sweeping turns off Route 9 on a southbound lane specifically for that use. So, I mean, I think if you look at the site, from where the exit point is on their most southerly entrance, it's right across from where the new Sergeant Palmetier, the extension, if you will, is at. So this bump out in pavement actually goes into their site. This is where one of their car carriers can sit, and like I said, pull right out of here. So I don't think you're gonna be able to make that turn, make the left, if you're headed north onto Old Hopewell Road. I mean, you could probably make the turn, but you may sweep into the oncoming lane, not the left lane,
I
but
I think without
yeah.
a turning template, we're just kind of guessing. So,
We
Yeah.
have it.
I mean,
I
to
have it.
you have the turn
Yeah, we
template for
actually
that?
have, we did it a long time ago. I can certainly email
Okay.
to anybody who wants it.
Yeah, I know from what was submitted, it was originally for a fire truck, is what we had. That was the only submission I saw. that-
Okay. we
You know,
have
it was
there.
for the, turning templates to get through everything, getting through the new complex, and,
Yep.
but if you could submit that,
Sure.
showing, with obviously whatever the new layout will be at that intersection.
I can ask Michael to take a look at that.
Hmm?
I can ask Michael to take a look at that.
Yes, if you could.
Sure.
That'd be great. I know he was gonna start to look at that.
Yep.
The other thing is that fire hydrant at the top, right?
The what?
The fire hydrant at the top.
Oh, the fire hydrant, yeah.
Yeah,
At the top turn, it shows a fire hydrant there.
yeah, is it close, I mean, how close is that to the road? I mean, is that really, on the plan, it looks like it's pretty close.
Yeah, we can't tell how far from there.
Yeah.
now.
I'm not sure he shows it.
Yes, it's there, Mark.
It's within the right of way, but it's right near the curve.
See, inside, on the inside pavement.
Oh, there, okay. Oh, no, that's gotta be, the scale, you're probably 4 or 5 feet off the road. This one here you're talking about.
Yeah.
Why don't we have the town water superintendent look at it and see what he thinks?
And we could put
I'm gonna
bollards there.
Actually, we're gonna see him in the morning.
Okay,
So I'll mention to him, maybe we'll go out there and look at it tomorrow.
okay.
with Mike.
All right, just to confirm that there's no issue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's far enough off the road that there's not gonna be a concern.
I mean, if it works, I mean, we could put bollards there, or, I'm not sure how the fire company wants to do that, but.
What about also, we had talked about signage, Mark. As part of the plan, has there been, where stop signs are gonna be, where there's, we talked about, and I think this was brought up at a meeting, I don't know if you were here. No, there was a meeting at Town Hall, Jim, right?
Well, there was another meeting in the field too, and I don't know if it was.
But we were talking about having like a chevron-type sign
Oh, yeah,
here
no,
to
we-
warn of a curve, and then some like temporary like signage to warn of a new traffic pattern whenever
Yes.
the road gets, opened up, so, we're gonna need to have on, some plan.
We actually put that plan together for the county, because they were concerned about the closure. So it was a combination of chevron signs, also, if, in the time that we would use this for a driveway, let's say it's not open to the public, we're gonna have a construction entrance signs, so that you don't pull in off Old Hopewell thinking you're going to Sergeant Palmetier. So that was one of the things we did with the county, but I can get you that plan. It talks about the closure, what signage we were gonna use. We were talking about Jersey barriers.
So those were, did you have, when you were working with the county, was it a whole separate set of plans, or did you include, the site plan that was signed by the planning board? I mean,
No, what
did you have a
happened-
whole separate set of plans for the county, or?
What happened with the county is, the county came way after everybody else. This was signed by the planning.
No, I understand it.
So that came in December. We, as of recent, got the final, let's say, permit set from the county. So that was a set that was on its own, to be, clear. It was, they had asked for things that, that pertain to the closure of the old road, and also they wanted to figure out how we were gonna consolidate the new road. So we submitted a full set of closure plans with that. We can give you that.
So on the full set of plans that went to the county for your highway work permit, that included, the layout of the new road, the grading and the drainage and all, so it was a full separate set that was obviously outside of the set that was signed by the
Yes,
town. All right, see, that's the set, and I think that's the set I asked you for.
Now that I think we sent to you on the 1st, October? I'll get it to you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the only problem is you sent us the approved site plan.
Site plan, okay.
That was signed by the town, and that's kind of how this all started, because when our inspector got out there, he had the set that was signed by the town, and
Okay,
showed, the 3 lines and blah, 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 blah.
okay, we'll take it.
So we do need to see the set that was approved by, okay.
Not a problem.
So where do we go from, we were still gonna issue
We're gonna
a
do the
letter?
letter,
So
yes.
maybe, I think we need to get that done like
So Mike and
ASAP.
Jim are working on the letter,
Right.
and we're gonna provide a sketch of that right turn lane coming off.
As long as it doesn't affect the right-of-way, I mean, I wouldn't think that it would. Is it possible we can do the resolution for this? I mean, we're willing to do, whatever it is to put the 3 lanes back in play, but we'd like to get this done only because it would help us with the dedication, and, we'd like to get this paved here before we start to get into cooler temperatures.
Well, but you gotta reconstruct to add the extra, lane before,
Yeah, but it won't change our right-of-way. Our right-of-way is already wider at the, let's say, the mouth of that. We already had anticipated, we didn't change that right-of-way.
We're assuming that it won't, but it could.
I mean, I
No,
don't know
it
if
shouldn't.
it-
We had it, when we had it designed for 3 lanes, that's the same right-of-way.
No, but what I mean is when you, depending upon how you peel that right turn off, how far away it is from the,
Well, we gotta be
Left turn
careful,
lane.
because we have stormwater structures right there, right on the other side of our
Are they shown on
So
the
we-
drawing?
Well, it
we
would
need
be
those-
shown on here.
We need that set of plans.
That was our original, that was the set that the town signed.
And that should be shown, that all that stormwater management should also be duplicated on the highway improvement set you had for the county, because that's all part of,
It was on there. It should-
Right, so-
I'm hoping it was on there. It was on there. It was the set that, we didn't change any of the stormwater locations based on converting this back to 2 lanes. We left everything where it was.
right.
So there should be plenty of room without having to change it right away.
All right. Well, we don't have anything prepared tonight anyways, right?
No, no.
Can
Yeah,
we
but-
authorize
yeah,
it? Or?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's, you know, anything outside of what was already approved, any changes in the plan should have been communicated back to the town staff, you know, immediately. I mean, that way, you know, they could make the decision if it needed to, you know, if something needed to be addressed or it needed to come back to the board for some further approval. I mean, you know, basically, you know, we've already approved the project as it was previously presented. Now we kind of need, you know, any input that you've gotten from the county or any you submitted should have been submitted to us so we could review it.
Well, our only problem was we got denied twice. And, you know, at that point, we were kind of stuck with, well, you know, how do we move forward with this?
Right, but
And
it's,
it's
but
always
with the
been-
the site plan, you know, was already approved, you know, the roadway was, you know, or the basic design for the roadway was, you know, previously approved. And nobody had any clue that there was a change in it until they started building it. I mean, everybody drove
See,
by
we
the
could have
site.
advocated too, I mean, you know, again,
We tried.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
But now they're approving it.
Yeah,
so-
but now they're
Yeah,
approving
well-
it, now they're approving it because
want it.
we had a discussion with them, and we said, look, you know, this is really important to the town. When I talked to Steve, I talked to him about pushing the right turn out a little bit with, you know, the pork chop island, so hence, then there was the email that, you know, you sent, that they weren't gonna require, you know, the caveat of, we're gonna go, like, monitor it, so.
But that was verbal. When he finally said that, he never gave it to us in writing.
No, right.
And, which has always been, you know, not to throw stones, but that was the difficult part about this is, you know, Auntie can tell you, he got on the phone and pleaded with Steve saying, look, the existing Sergeant Palmetier Way has a right turning lane. That's when he came back and said, okay, we'll consider it with the caveat. But I mean, as a town, would you have accepted that road knowing that they would be able to come back in a year?
Well,
and
that's-
tell
No,
that's
but
the
we
point,
would
Mark,
have,
if-
no,
if-
but we
if
would
we-
have been able to work it out with them before it even got to that point, say.
If we had known.
Okay, well, there was,
And when we did find out, we fixed it.
but we were, no, never mind, we're done. We're willing to do, I mean, Anthony's has agreed to go ahead and basically make the improvements you want to do. All I'm asking is we have to be careful what's out there now because what is designed and is in the field was based on three lanes. We just moved the curb in. So if we can work within those parameters and you guys are willing to do that, he's willing to make the change, so.
So I think we need to get the letter out as soon as possible,
Yeah.
right?
And if you can circulate the construction plans that were approved by the county,
Yeah, that would be very
Circulate
helpful.
them to
and
the town.
that's gonna, I mean, we'll have a discussion as to whether or not they get filed with the plat, but for purposes of dedication and everything, we need those.
But that's the 2-lane option. You see what I'm saying?
No,
Well, they're
I
gonna
know,
have- they're
but
gonna
what
have
I'm
to be
saying is
updated.
They're gonna have to be updated,
Right.
but with the subdivision plat, we're gonna need a drawing showing all of the improvements that are gonna be dedicated to the town.
Okay.
Because somebody shouldn't have to look at the site plan to figure it out, because typically a site plan doesn't dedicate improvements to the town.
No, we can do that.
So if, you know, you put that, and maybe you just leave, or show it with the three, whatever it is, because if you show it with the 3 lanes, it's only gonna be slightly wider than that based on whatever that exit geometry is.
Right.
But, you know, and I assume the drainages all fit based on the 3 lanes.
Right.
So, and then, if you get a meets and bounds for what's gonna be dedicated, we can go forward with
Okay.
all of the acceptance documents, and, so you know, and we talked about, the idea is that, and we'll draft all of the abandonment documents and the acceptance documents at the same time.
Okay.
So the transaction will take place simultaneously, because of, you know, the nature of, in this area here, you really can't, you can't it would be very difficult to do any work in Sergeant Palmetier. So the thing that makes the most sense is to close this off and then do the work.
Okay,
And you can't close this off until this is accepted.
correct. Okay.
And then also as attached to that plan set would be all of the signage that you submitted to the county
Yep,
regarding
okay.
the shed. So,
Yeah, that might be slightly modified only
Do we
because
want the
what they approved is
sequence of
two
all
lanes,
this
so.
Opening, closing documented?
Well, at your meeting that you had here at the town hall, didn't you talk about all other sequencing and stuff like that?
but basically what we said, it would be done simultaneously.
What, no, is it documented somewhere?
No, I mean, it's not, that would be, again, probably in this do it in the resolution. But we also have a separate, Charlie Montalbano did a separate document, which we can do, which I don't necessarily, talked about abandonment. It didn't talk about timing per se, but we can put that in there.
I think it needs to be documented.
Yeah, there's a separate, standalone document. But basically, you know, when this is done and accepted, then we'll close down the other. 'Cause, you know, we had a discussion about it, you can't really make a left turn in and, so.
Okay, so we'll get a letter from you with basically ideas of what you want us to do as
Yep.
far as, okay.
And then, but, you know, if you can get, you know, the current set of highway work
The two
permit
lane,
plans.
what was approved, the two
Yeah,
lanes.
yeah, yeah, right, just so we can see, you know, the details on it.
Okay. You know what, now that I'm thinking about it, there is one basin that was moved. We were hoping we could leave it and just move the curb and guide the drainage from the left turning lane into it, so we left that one. There's a basin right here that was put in next to it's a curb inlet. We're wondering if we can make that a drop inlet.
I mean, we can look at it, we'll have to talk to the county about it.
Okay.
How far does county jurisdiction go out? Is it 60 feet? 40?
Something like that.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, our next item on the agenda this evening is architectural review for Hudson Valley Lighting facade renovations.
Good evening, Keith Schofield, Liscombe McCormick Van Voris Architects. As you can see, Hudson Valley Lighting is doing pretty well for themselves, and so they are increasing their office space within the warehouse. So their intent for that office space is to remove the tilt-up concrete panels that are in the area of the office and replicate the storefront system that's currently on the building for the distance of that office area. So it's basically a little structural magic to cut down the panels and
Yeah,
and basically
it's just install new storefront.
install new storefront, the same
Yeah.
sort of spandrel panel in front of any structure, and an EFIS panel at the very top that replicates the panels that are already there.
Okay, and it's basically to match the existing that's currently there.
Exactly. There's no magic to it. It's just
All right.
keep the look and keep it going.
Okay.
They'll be happy to keep expanding as time comes.
All right, so any of the board members have any questions regarding this? No. Okay. Then let's make a motion to approve it as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. All right.
How you doing, Keith?
Our next item on the agenda this evening, the architectural review regarding mobile station on Route 82, the pump, replacement of Pricer to
Oh, yeah.
LED digital
Yeah,
Pricer.
that's good.
Good evening, John Phillips, Station Road, New England.
Good evening. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so today's application is just for obviously the sign out at the front by the
For the
corner,
LED price sign,
through All
yes.
Angels and Route 82.
Yes.
And also, I guess it looks like you're looking to add some signage over the top of the pump?
The gas dispenser's correct.
Right. You're gonna also be replacing the gas pumps out there too?
We aren't physically, but another company is.
Okay.
Yeah,
But that's
so-
all part of the, I guess, too. It's all gonna look pretty much like what you presented, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Does anyone have any questions regarding what's being proposed?
Yeah, the sign here that you have with the lighting, the numbers on there, can a dimmer be put on that in case it's too bright?
They can.
Okay, we would like that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, and that's just for the numbers or also the backlighting of the sign?
Yeah, why not? The
The same
backlighting
dimmer
as
would-
well.
Yeah, the same dimmer would control the whole thing, so it's
So I'm
even.
saying, yeah, that would be great. And that can be
Okay.
determined by,
And that would be, so that way if it does get installed and, there are issues with it being too bright at that intersection, the zoning administrator then would be able to work with the station owner to have them turn it down to an acceptable
Right,
level.
they could do it right from the remote now. It's all digital, so it's
Okay.
rather easy.
All right, so they could do it from within the store.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay?
All right. Are there any other questions anybody has? Okay.
Are we doing any landscaping around this sign, or are we leaving it the way it is?
Which one?
That's ground mounted, correct?
Yeah, stone underneath there right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that stonework staying underneath that?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you put some kind of landscaping around that, just to dress it up a little bit?
I believe there was talks about it in the springtime, but, I mean, that was a few months ago when we started the permit. So, I don't know if they're gonna do it this fall or wait till the spring.
Well,
again.
I think I'd like to see something there.
Okay.
Yeah, if they could landscape it with some type of, something that'd be the area, year-round.
Right.
Type of, just to break up the, around the sign a little bit.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Other than that, no other questions, concerns?
I'm good.
All right, so,
None of the other work they proposed is gonna be done?
well, no, they haven't come back with that.
Okay.
That's that other application is gonna sit until, they come back with a, reasonable photometric plan, for the site.
Okay.
Right, yeah, we're still working on that.
Okay. All right, so we give you get a motion to approve the replacement of the freestanding sign with the two conditions. One is to landscape around the base of the sign, and then the other condition is that they install a dimmer on the lighting, so that if there's an issue with the lighting, that it can be addressed by the zoning administrator to have
Yeah.
them reduce the power of the lighting.
All right, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Happy New Year.
You too.
You too.
All right. So at this point, we wish to go into executive session regarding we going in executive session for? We're going in for legal advice from our attorney.
So moved.
Okay. Motion, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, should we walk?